All right, we are green. Welcome, welcome back, you beautiful bastions of freedom. I'm Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, this beautiful country, and how we're going to fix both of them together. And the content that you're about to see is music to my ears, manna from heaven, as some would say. Chip Roy unloads on the RINOs that are being little wiffle-washy in the Senate with the nomination and the support of Trump's nominees for Secretary of Defense, FBI director. This is what we need more of. I'm going to say it right now. We're about to have a relationship, guys, because this stuff that I'm about to show you from Chip Roy is what we need a lot more of. I don't need this wishy-washy, scratch my back, scratch your back kind of crap coming from DC. I need, you better get in line because the population will primary your butt. That's what I need. You're going to love every second of this, guys. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. As we get into this, those of you who do not like Chip Roy must not know Chip Roy because the man has an eloquent way with words, and I am so excited to hear you on this one. So make sure we're 5x5. That is all good. Sweet. Let's go. We've got a video clip that just dropped a couple of days ago when we recorded. I think it was Friday. Listen to this. Because a lot of the stuff that we're about to cover with our gun rights, with our freedoms, with our border, all of it, it all comes down to the fact that the fight is now beginning against RINOs. I've said multiple times since the election and prior to that for like a year, the main initial flashpoint is going to be struggling to get rid of the Democrats out of power. The big fight is going to be to fight the Republicans to get what we want and bring them to heel. That's where we're at right now. The fight is just beginning, so make sure you guys are on board and you are subscribed so we can get this freedom passed on as we usually do. Let's get to Chip Roy as you're getting in here. You're going to love this.
Here, as we deal with all that on the spending issue, I watch the Senate Republicans doing this dance of hand-wringing and concern about the president's nominees. The president was elected by the American people to change this town. He has nominated people who want to change this town. If you want to go overturn every rock of everybody's past and then say that they are not capable or they don't deserve to serve in a position like Secretary of Defense, as is currently occurring with the targeted attacks on Pete Hegseth, well, maybe you should take the board out of your eye. I'm not saying that we don't have standards that are appropriate in the advise and consent process. We do and we should. I'm a believer in that in separation of powers. But the president also is deserving of the courtesy and the respect of his own party in particular, of the individuals he's nominating to change the town.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of go through this as he comes to a natural break point. This is the key point. There is a massive voter backlash against the status quo BS that is standard in Washington over the last 20 to 30 years. It encompasses things like our gun rights, infringing upon those till we kick the crap out of them in the courts, and we continue to do so. And we're selling more guns than we've ever sold before, and there's more ownership of guns than ever before, and public opinion is swinging towards the Second Amendment. But other than those things, we are moving, even in the spite of the RINOs like Joni Ernst, who we're about to talk about in a second, who is basically coming against our rights because, well, we got to have the Democrats like us too, because now it's time for compromise, even though it's our rights that they're compromising. This kind of goes back to that thing that we talk about a lot on this channel where our rights are not a currency for them to make more deals, right? You don't get to use our rights as your currency in order to provide a perceived safety of which then you don't deliver on, but at least you compromised. No, it ain't gonna roll like that. Now, let's keep going, though, because he gets some stuff where he starts calling them out by name. Check this out.
He was elected to change it. You don't like Tulsi because she's a Democrat? Get over it. She's not anymore. She's a Republican now, but she was. In this chamber, I served with her. She was a Democrat. You don't like Bobby Kennedy because he's from the iconic Democrat family? Get over it. I don't agree with Bobby Kennedy on a lot of different things, but I agree with him that we need to fundamentally change our healthcare system, that we need to make America healthy again. I agree with Tulsi that we've been involved in endless wars and endless conflict that is draining our resources and undermining the men and women in uniform. I agree with Pete Hegseth that wokeism is destroying the United States military. I agree with Pete that we don't need to have endless wars. I agree with Pete that we ought to have somebody who's served in battle and understands it, who's at the top of the Pentagon, rather than the brass who, frankly, often like their ribbons more than actually doing the work that is necessary to defend this country. I like the fact that we have people that the president is nominating that will take on the establishment, take on, for example, the FBI with Kash Patel. And the fact of the matter is we have senators who are wanting to challenge it. For example, the senator from Iowa who's going after Pete Hegseth, or seemingly being critical. Same individual, by the way, says and voted for an NDAA that would draft our daughters and has been fighting to draft our daughters. And I tell her, you'll do that over my dead body. There will be no draft of my daughter. Voted for the Marriage Act to codify gay marriage. Went out to her constituents and talked about how the horrible Senate border bill was somehow a good bill and then scolded President Trump for opposing it. Voted for Garland for AG, voted for Lloyd Austin for defense, voted for Buttigieg for DOT, voted for Janet Yellen, voted for Ukraine's borders over America's borders. And with all due respect...
Okay, so before... that was a longer segment. Thank you for bearing with me on that, but I wanted to lead up into that. He's calling her out directly. That's a Republican senator from Iowa. That is Joni Ernst. Now, here's the thing about Joni Ernst. Joni Ernst also voted for the gun control bill that Biden got passed called the Senate Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. So she voted for all of Biden's nominees, every single one of them. They all got in. The Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General, the ATF Director, all of those. They're good to go from that Republican. Signing away your rights with a gun control bill that further emboldens the ATF and the FBI and the other three-letter agencies against your rights. Oh, that sounds good. It's for safety. Ooh, Trump wants some nominees? Ooh. I don't know. That's a tough ask. I got a bridge I need to be named after. Guys, this is the kind of stuff we need to see. I see a super chat. Hold on one second. If only Chip was Speaker of the House. Oh, that would be the day. That would be glorious. Thank you for that super chat, by the way. Guys, what we're seeing right now, and this is the key point, the reason I wanted to cover this tonight leading into tomorrow. When we're talking about normal status quo Republican behavior, it's very much no internal firing. It's very much like, hey, hands off, the Democrats are the baddies and we're good, we're all friends. Now, what we're seeing is the establishment RINOs being called out by the ones who are in the House, who are directly naming their voting records on record on the House floor. This is what we need. This is why we need to be tuned in. This is why we need to be paying attention to all these things, because every single bit of effort that we do right now leads us to having a success when they go for national reciprocity, and something is telling me in my little spidey senses, suppress or remove from the NFA. I have no sources from that. That's just my gut. This is what we need. You and I together. Let's keep going.
To the senator from Iowa, you're not where the American people are. President Trump is. And Pete Hegseth is.
Wow.
We have an obligation to change this town or we're going to lose this country.
Facts.
If Republicans do not deliver, if we do not do what we said we would do, this party will end.
Facts.
There will not be a Republican Party if we fail in this term, this Congress, to deliver. That's not hyperbole. It's true. We will go the way of the Whigs.
All right. So what he's talking about there, if you're not familiar with history, Whigs was a former party. They are no longer in existence. I believe they turned into the Republican Party, or the Republican Party took their vote share. I don't remember exactly how it interfaced, but legitimately, the Whigs used to exist. They don't exist anymore. Going the way of the Whigs is a political party dying. Chip Roy is directly over target, and I will say this on record right now on the internet live streaming. Make sure you guys can hear me. If the Republicans do not deliver in every area of which the mandate demands, they will cease to exist as a party, political party. They will no longer have any viability. Everyone left the Democrats because they went freaking hog wild crazy. If the Republicans don't return back to the center, or at least to the right on some of the policies, they're gonna get smoked. Just saying. I know a lot of you feel the exact same way. He's dead over the target, and he's speaking from inside the House. The call is coming from inside the House. Anyway, let's keep going, though.
We will secure the border. We will return order to our streets. We will cut spending. We will move towards balancing our budgets. We will nominate and confirm, as the president has nominated, we will confirm people who will change this town, take on the bureaucracy. We will listen to and work with Elon and Vivek, root out the waste and fraud, but do it ourselves. Pass bills that actually get the job done. We will undo the damage of the Biden administration, replace it with a legacy that our kids and grandkids can be proud of. Root out the wokeism, root out all of the DEI and the critical race theory. Kill it. Kill it now.
Yep.
We will do these things or we will not exist.
All right, that's a good way to end his little segment here. And then we're going to have a little recap here, and I'll look at some of your comments as well. They need to rip things out by the root, because if they let it foster and they let it just sit there and exist and it can't go anywhere, and it was a pet project like the office or the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, if that bad boy still stays, they lose credibility in the gun world, in my opinion. That's an easy sign of a pin. Bye, gone. Very easy. If they have an ATF director that's still gun control, bye, gone. If they don't do all the things and start having some sort of delivery for the people that gave them the power away from the insanity that was the left, they're no better than the left. And I will lead that charge right here on this channel, because we will get something from this. And that's what I've got. All right, let's dive into this here. F the woke. I agree. Let's go with that. I like that. Chip Roy 2028. I love that. And by the way, guys, let me know what you think in the comments field. Smoked, period. Okay, so you guys are on the same page with me. All right, this makes sense. We're on the same page. I'm not being overzealous. That is an actual, pretty agreed upon consensus. I like that a lot. Abso-flanking loudly. Lootly? I think that was Lootly. Jack Happy. Amen, Langley. Good stuff. Awesome. Looks like you guys don't have anything to say to me over here. I mean, I appreciate you tuning in. But if you don't have anything, which it looks like you guys don't in the chats, in the comments, I will see you guys on the next one. We got tons of stuff that we have to cover tomorrow. Starting, make sure that subscription's on, that notification bell is on. You guys are tuned in and ready to push our rights, because we will get our pound of flesh. Come hell or high water, we got this. And I will see you guys on the next one.